music guy was super creepy.
Jin'Rokh the Breaker is a patchwork-like fight with additional zone-based mechanics that have to be performed so that we reduce damage intake and don't cause wipes. Every minute and a half or so of the fight, the current tank will be knocked back into one of 4 statues around the circular platform, and that will activate various things, but most specifically, it'll place a conductive water on that quadrant of the fight space. When the quadrant of water is in its conductive state, the raid's goal is to stay in a position in the water to maximize their damage buff, while also reacting to movement mechanics that need you to leave the conductive water or else you'll cause a wipe. So these 2 mechanics are 1, Focus Lightning, which is every 15 seconds, one random raider will be targeted by a fixating lightning orb. You must kite it out of the map, ideally in a very efficient edge part of the map, and let it hit you eventually while you're no longer in the conductive water. The longer you kite it, the better, but as long as you're out of the conductive water, you've done the minimum work. It's important that any further lightning orb fixation paths do not cross existing ones that have put paths on the ground, because if they overlap, explosions occur and likely a wipe. The other kind of spatial mechanic in this part of the fight is called ionization, and basically every time we start a new segment of conductive water, everybody in the raid's going to get a magic debuff on them that will eventually expire and explode. If everybody's explodes, it's a wipe. Actually, if most people's even stay on in an uncontrolled manner, it'll probably cause a wipe. So what we do is we have a strategic exiting pattern where you leave the conductive water, you're dispelled, you re-enter, and if you have any way to self-dispel, you can also do that. Very similar to the Firelands boss, where you would get a magic debuff in that sense as well. Various strategies will ensue. Things like Cloak of Shadows and Self-Bubbles can proactively remove that debuff before it's even applied. Every so often, there will be a tank swap, and at the 90-second point of a conductive water, it'll become a bad pool of water, and we must leave or else we'll wipe, because we're setting up for the next quadrant to be filled with conductive water. And essentially, the fight progresses over those 4 conductive water segments until there's no longer any map to use, and then it's a hard wipe there. Now, between these new conductive water placements, there's kind of a dance phase in Heroic where lightning storms will apply in sporadic places on the map, kind of like pillars on the ground, and from those specific random pillar segments, radiations will happen in terms of like lightning, like orbs that fly out from them, similar to the first boss, I guess, in Heart of Fear. And it's our job as individuals to dodge every single lightning ball that comes your way and survive the kind of dance until you're back into a conductive water form.